Welcome to my latest video lecture. Today we're going to talk about why do Christians make the sign of the cross. Our special plan. Philip Yancey in his book The Jesus I Never Knew quotes J.B. Phillips and paraphrases an imagined conversation between a senior and a junior angel as they travel on a spaceship across the universe. As the two of them draw near, the senior angel points to a small and rather insignificant sphere turning very slowly on its axis. It looks as dull as a dirty tennis ball. "I want you to watch that one particularly," says the senior angel. "Well, it looks very small and rather dirty to me," says the junior angel. "What's so special about that one?" He listened in stunned disbelief as the senior angel told him that this planet, small and insignificant as it is, was the renowned visited planet. "Do you mean that our great and glorious prince went down in person to this fifth-rate little ball, and that he stooped so low as to become one of those creeping, crawling creatures of that floating dirty ball?" The senior angel replies, "I do. For strange as it may seem to us, he loves them. He went down to visit them, to lift them up to become like him." The junior angel looked blank. Such a thought was almost beyond his comprehension. The sign of the cross. What does it mean for Christians? How often do you and I make the sign of the cross in a day? Maybe when we say our morning or evening prayers, maybe at church or before our after meals. Have you ever stopped to think of the significance and importance of such a gesture? For one thing, only Catholics and some Anglicans habitually make the sign before and after prayers and other important daily activities. I was reminded of this when I attended a Protestant funeral service. Then I realized that only Catholic and some Anglican altars are highlighted by the cross of Christ, making them the center of our worship. So what exactly is the great importance of the cross and of the sign of the cross? The cross is the sign of God's infinite love. To the Jews, a man crucified means only that he has been judged as a criminal. To atheists, they wonder exactly what kind of God would have himself suffer and die such a horrible death as a criminal. And to the faithful, the cross is the sign of God's extreme, infinite, and unfailing love for each and every one of us human beings. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that all who believe in him may not perish, but may have eternal life. He humbled himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Because of this, God greatly exalted him, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. But again, you may ask, why does it have to be a death of a Son of God on a cross? Why? Why is the obvious question of unbelievers? Why the creator of the multi-universe would stoop not only to be born as a human, but to suffer such an ignominious and painful death as that of crucifixion? There are two answers to that question. First, only divine restitution can erase a divine offense. The offense was that of Adam and Eve, and the offended party was God the Father. Adam and Eve represented all humanity forever. And the offended party, God the Father, sent His only begotten Son to make an acceptable sacrifice to erase that offense. And second, the quotation I gave you earlier, greater love no man had this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Jesus prophesied His death. He volunteered His life, and He freely offered His body and blood. Jesus prophesied His own death on several occasions. Matthew has Jesus prophesying His passion, death, and resurrection 3 times. On one occasion, the leader of the apostles, St. Peter, remonstrates to Jesus and says, God forbid, Lord, no such thing should ever happen to you. But Jesus rebuked him. Get behind me, Satan. You are an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. That Jesus went voluntarily to His death is shown vividly in the quote from John. As Jesus is being seized by the soldiers at the Garden of Gethsemane, what does He say? He says, do you think that I cannot, even now, call upon my Father, and He will not provide me at this moment with more than 12 legions of angels? But then, how would the scripture be fulfilled, which says that it must come to pass in this way? And Jesus also said, I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me. I lay it down on my own. So how can we respond to this magnificent gesture of God's love and forgiveness? And modern man uses his intelligence and his science to disprove the very existence of God and His creation. Billions of modern men and women reject Christ and God's love. Billions more hardly know about or care about God's plan of redemption. And we, the lucky Christians, knowing since childhood about God's love for us, we still live a life of sin, and we neglect to become true disciples of Christ. And we do not follow His command to evangelize the whole world. What every Christian knows, and what the modern world forgets, is that Christianity's first principle is charity. Charity is love. Love of God, love of neighbor. As St. John says in his Gospel, God is love. In this way, the love of God was revealed to us. God sent His Son into the world so that we might have life through Him. He loved us and sent His Son as expiation for one's sins. Beloved, if God so loves us, we must also love one another. Whoever does not love a brother that he has seen cannot love the God who he has never seen. And it is the cross of Christ which reminds us of the great, nay, the infinite cost of the purchase of our redemption. Though God could have cancelled our original sin by His edict, He chose the dreadful, bloody sacrifice of His dearly beloved Son on the cross. Surely there can be no greater act of love. And that's what the cross means to us. Thank you. So thanks for watching this video, and if you're interested in watching more controversial issues discussed, please click like and subscribe to my video series. Thank you.